So welcome at the Sheldrick Wildlife Trust, Nairobi Nursery. We're ready to bring you the 11 a.m. Milk feeding with the baby elephants here in the nursery. And we've got 13 elephants in the nursery at the moment. And if you might be joining us for the first time today, the Sheldrick Wildlife Trust is a project that was started officially back in the year 1977 after the death of David Sheldrick, who was a naturalist and the senior founder warden of the Lake National Park. He died in 1977, and this project was started in his memory under the management of the widow, who is now the late Dr. Dame Daphne Sheldrick, who's been running the project since then until 2 years ago when she passed on, leaving the mandate to her daughter Angela Sheldrick, who was running the project together with the mother for about 17 years before the mother passed on. And right now the project is under the management of Angela Sheldrick. And so we take care of orphan baby elephants and orphan baby rhinos, and later on reintroducing them back into the wild. And that's why all the babies you're going to see here today are orphans, and all have been rescued from different parts of the country, and they have different reasons for being orphans. Some of them, we know exactly what caused them to be left orphans, and that's why we rescue them. Others, we're really not very sure. But since the others were also found when they are still at a very young age, at an age where they would not have survived without the mother's milk, and also without protection against other dangers, that's why we rescue them. Okay, okay, okay. Welcome at the Sheldrick Wildlife Trust, Nairobi Nursery, where we take care of orphan baby elephants and rhinos, and later on reintroducing them back into the wild. And so we've got a group of elephants joining us now for the 11 a.m. milk feed. We'll be able to introduce the elephants to you one by one. And I will start with the main matriarch in the nursery at the moment, an elephant by the name Maisha, who is approximately 3 years old, over 3 years. And Maisha was rescued from Sava Conservation Area when she was very tiny, only at the age of about 8 months old. And she was left an orphan after the mother had died from starvation due to drought. And that's why we had to rescue her. Right now, she's over 3 years old, and the main leader of all the elephants that we've got in the nursery at the moment. We do have Enkesha right in front, who is also 3 years old. And Enkesha was rescued from the Masai Mara. She was found trapped in a snare all around the trunk, and that's why we rescued her. When she came in the nursery in the first place, we called in the vets to come and stitch the trunk back to normal, a surgery that was successfully done. But after a few days before the wound was healed, the elephant managed to take off all the stitches from the trunk. And that's why you might have realized that she's got an opening on one part of the trunk. The wound has completely healed, but she's using the trunk properly, perfectly. The trunk is full of muscles. She manages to squeeze the muscles together, cover the opening, and take the water and blow it into the mouth. So she will be able to survive out into the world naturally. The elephant that is making a lot of noise and complaining is called Roho, who happens to be the youngest boy and the favorite of all the matriarchs around. And Roho is about 14 months old, almost 15 months. Roho was rescued from Sava West National Park. The mother is believed to have been killed by poachers, and that's why he was left alone while at the age of about 7 months. Actually, he needs extra more milk. That's why he was complaining. And as a mother taking care of a baby, you need to know the right amount to feed your baby. If you give them too much, it also becomes a problem. If you give them too little, it also becomes a problem. So that's why you have to give them the right amount that is able to sustain them. We do have an elephant by the name Makta right behind me. and Mactau is approximately 2.5 years old. Mactau was rescued from a Savo conservation area near a place called Mactau. He was found in our community all alone while at the age of about 3 months. Nobody knows the whereabouts of the mother and the rest of the family members, but being found in our community suspects that he might have been separated from his family by human beings, and so he's a victim of human wildlife conflict. We've got Mukoka joining us now, who happens to be one of the greediest of them all, who always likes to shout all the time and who wants to be the first one to get the bottle all the time. Mukoka is approximately 2 years old. He was rescued from northern part of Savo East National Park, a place called Idumba. Identified by aerial surveillance on patrol who found the baby all alone within the park, observed him for some time, hoping for the mother to come back and collect the baby, but none existed, which meant that he was an orphan, and that is the reason to why he was rescued. Close to me, we've got an elephant by the name Naboishu, who happens to be the latest arrival that we've got in the nursery, having been rescued from the Masai Mara. And this was after the mother had died from a natural disease, and that's why Naboishu was left alone. I do have Nabulu at approximately 3 years old, the second, actually oldest in the nursery after Maisha. And Nabulu is slightly over 3 years. Nabulu was rescued from the Masai Mara. She was identified all alone within the park, very thin and very weak, very much dehydrated, a sign that she had stayed for a long time without the mother's milk and also without the right food, which meant that she was an orphan, and that's why we rescued her. Right now, she's slightly over 3 years old and doing all right in the nursery. We've been joined by the youngest elephant that we've got in the nursery. Her name is Naleku. She's approximately almost 11 months old. Naleku was rescued from the Masai Mara when she was about 7 months old, and this was after her mother had died from a natural disease, and that's why we rescued her. Right now, approximately 11 months, and adjusting well in the nursery, being the youngest and the smallest that we've got at the moment. The elephants are coming in smaller groups for easier feeding, so it depends on the number of keepers that are ready to feed them, because when they come in, they need the milk, and so that's why somebody has to be ready with a bottle to give them the milk. So that's why you might have realized that we're bringing them in smaller groups. All have the bottles immediately they arrive. We have got the last group joining us now, a group of about 5 elephants joining us now, because we got a total of 13 elephants in the nursery at the moment. We got a group of 5 elephants joining us now from the far end, being led by Kiasa. And Kiasa is one of the little upcoming little matriarch in the nursery, who has proved to be, or who has proved to become a good matriarch in future. Kiasa is approximately 3 years old. She was rescued from Sava conservation area, and her mother is believed to have died from starvation due to drought, and that's why she was left alone. And when she came in the nursery in the first place, she proved to be the naughtiest of them all, bullying everyone around, including the keepers and the other elephants. But after the arrival of Roho, all the bad character changed. She became a good girl, a very maternal, a very responsible of the little ones, and giving her priority to Roho. And that's why we believe should make a good matriarch in future. We do have Laro next to Kiasa. Laro is approximately 2 years old. Laro was rescued from the Masai Mara Olaro Conservancy, identified all alone within this conservancy, and suspected to have been separated from her family by human beings. And so she's a victim of human wildlife conflict. So if you're joining us now, welcome at the Sheldrick Wildlife Trust, Nairobi Nursery, where we are taking care of orphan baby elephants and rhinos, and later on reintroducing them back into the wild. They've been orphaned from different parts of the country, all having different reasons for being orphans. And that's why we had to come in and make sure that we give them a second chance to survive back into the wild. And this is because if these elephants would not have been identified, they would not have survived, they'll all be dead. And that's why we had to come in and make sure that we give them a second chance to survive back into the wild. We've got a total of 13 elephants in the nursery at the moment. All are here with us, with an inclusion of Kiombo, whom we did not mention. We also have Lugard, we also have Ziwadi among as a group. And then all these are here in the nursery for 3 years before we start the process of reintroducing them back into the wild. We then serve a conservation area, a process that takes them a minimum of about 5 years before they start to make friends among the wild herds, who will later on invite them and adopt them in their families. And once adopted, they'll be trained, they'll be protected, they'll be warned, they'll be shown everything within the park, which means they will have become as wild as any other elephant out there. And today we are talk about more about Kiasa. We're going to focus on Kiasa, who is an elephant that has been in the nursery for approximately 2.5 years. She came in while at the age of about 7 months. She was rescued from Savo. Her mother had died from starvation. She was found all alone. She was very thin and very weak and very much dehydrated. And when she came in, she did not have any strength enough to walk around and play or fight with the others. But after some time, she gained some strength. And then she loved her milk and she became a greedy elephant, starting to fight all the others around, being encouraged, actually showing a lot of character by fighting all the others, which we thought was nice because she had come from a very thin situation and not feeding well in the beginning, and now starting to gain strength, starting to feed properly and wanting more milk and feeding on lots of vegetation, which we were really very happy. Later on, when she became strong enough, she changed to a bully elephant, wanting to bully everyone around, the keepers, not listening to the keepers, not listening or wanting to be friendly to the other elephants, pushing them all around, becoming a bossy of all the others apart from the big ones. Although at some point we could realize that she wanted even to bully the big elephants in the nursery, and so they had to fix and put her in her place at some point, but she could not listen to the keepers. Something interesting is that when we received a tiny elephant called Roho, who is the youngest boy, all that changed Kiasa's bad character. We could not believe what we saw because she changed from a bully and greedy fighting all the others to a mother figure, to showing us or exposing her maternal instinct, wanting to be very close to Roho, trying to fight with the other girls to get Roho to be close to her. And from then, all that good character has been improving every now and then. She sometimes moves from taking care of Roho, wants to take care of Laro, and keeps on showing the good characters that we did not know that are in her in the beginning when she came. At the moment, since Tagwa has left and Tamiyoi has left, we've got Maisha, who is the main matriarch, assisted by Nabulu and Enkesha, but she's also playing a big role. She's showing that she can be a good mother. She's very responsible and very caring of all the others in the nursery, although still giving her priority and all her time to Roho. So that is what happens when they're out in the world. And I want to say elephants' life is related to that of human beings. It can change at any time. She was bad in the beginning and we thought she will be a bully for the rest of her life, but she all changed and became a good mother figure of all the others. In most cases, when she's out in the park, you will find her closer to Laro, who still takes her as the mother. And in the absence of Roho being close to Maisha and Nabulu, you'll find Roho also closer to Kiasa. And that's why we celebrate her today as one of our young motherly baby elephant upcoming, who will be a good matriarch in future. As we said before, all elephants have got different characters. They keep on changing from one time to the other. We've got the naughty characters, we've got the soft, gentle characters, we've got the shy characters among us are orphans, and this is what applies with human beings. We expect it to happen to them as well, because the life of an elephant revolves around the lives of human beings. But as they grow old, you see a change in that character. And that's what we've realized with Kiasa here in the nursery. The same thing was also realized with Maisha. When she came in, she was shy. She was not bully, or she didn't have the bad character, but she was shy. She didn't want to associate and join with the others. But after some time, she started to join them and showing us how good motherly she can be. So these characters keep on changing every now and then as they grow old. When they're still young, they have that baby character of playing a lot. As they grow old, the character keeps on changing every now and then. So the elephants have finished the bottle feed and they are enjoying their browse. It is not warm enough for them to roll in the mud, and that's why you might not see them all down the mud. When it is hot enough, they go in and play to cover themselves in the mud, to cool their body, and also to protect them from being bitten by some insects. It is also fun for them. They really enjoy playing and rolling in the mud and in the dust. So some of them are enjoying the browse, but all day they are out in the park, feeding on different type of vegetation out there. They know what to feed on, the right vegetation for them to feed on. They know the poisonous plants so that they don't feed on, and they smell on different types of vegetation and they choose what they want. The keepers are always with them to provide protection whenever needed. But most important, we have to ensure that they have their freedom and do what they want to do when they are out there. So if you're joining us now, welcome. We are at the Sheldrick Wildlife Trust, Nairobi Nursery. The elephants have just finished the bottle feed at 11 a.m. They're enjoying a little bit of the browse before they go back into the park, where they spend the rest of the day. And you might be wondering, all these babies are here because they're orphans, having been orphaned from different parts of the country with different reasons for being orphans. Some of them, the mothers have been killed by poachers due to trade in ivory, and I would like to say it's unfortunate that the poaching is still going on, but we are happy in Kenya that the trend on ivory is going down, and so we are happy to note that, and that's why majority of the orphans that we've got here are not because of ivory poaching, but are from human wildlife conflict. We are praying that the trend continues so that at some point we won't have poaching taking place completely. And it is unfortunate for the little poaching that is taking place, because it is being perfected by human beings, and yet it is our role as human beings to care and protect for the lives of these animals. We fail in our responsibility by killing them just because we're interested in their ivory or in their skin or in the meat. And that is why I'd like to advise all our listeners today to ensure that you help stop poaching from wherever you are. You have to do that by actually stopping to buy things that are made from ivory, anything from the rhino horn. And also you can do that by educating or passing the message to anybody who is closer to you to know that the elephants need their ivory, and the ivory is only important when on a live elephant. And that's why we have to ensure that we protect and we care for them so that they have a better natural life. Ziwadi scratching on the post at the far end. A few of them are here because of natural reasons like old age, natural disease back into the wild, and the majority of them they're here because of human-wildlife conflict. And the milk that we're feeding them is not an elephant's milk; it is a human baby formula whose fats have been emulsified to make it easier for the babies to digest. And when they come in, we feed them on demand at a very young age, up to the age of about a year old. And after 1 year, we feed them on intervals of 3 hours a day and night. One elephant takes a total of 24 liters of milk in a day for the big group, and the tiny two babies take a total of 14 liters of milk in a day. The keepers spend the day out in the park with them from 6 in the morning up to 5 in the evening when they come back for bed. And for those elephants that are under the age of 2 years, have a keeper spending the night in the rooms to feed them on intervals of 3 hours, to cover blankets to make sure that they're kept warm, and to keep them company, because elephants are very social animals and they need to be protected. They need to have the company of the keepers who are part of their family members, since they already lost the original families out to the world. So the Sheldrick Wildlife Trust is working together with the Kenya Wildlife Service to ensure that all animals are safe in the parks. And that is why we've got other projects like mobile veterinary units, anti-poaching teams, community projects, all to ensure that all animals are safe out in the park. We do have one of the keepers assisting Nabulu to dust herself at the far end. They use their trunk to get the dust and blow and throw it on the back. At some point, we show them what to do, or we assist them if we realize that they are doing it and they can't do it perfectly because their trunks are not fully grown. And that's why at some point the keepers assist them to throw the dust on the back. They do enjoy it and like doing it as well. We've got little Ziwadi close to me here, who always likes to feed all by herself, enjoying the company of the keeper with her at the moment. So if you're joining us now, we're just almost at the end of this milk feeding live viewing at the Sheldrick Wildlife Trust. We are actually taking care of these orphans here because they're orphans, and it is important that we help give them a second chance to survive back into the world. And we do this because we realize that all animals have the right to live, and so they need to be protected and cared for. And so we want to thank you all for joining us. We want to thank you all for supporting us. And if you're joining us and you like to support the works of the Sheldrick Wildlife Trust, you can go on our website and find out how you can donate towards a bottle of milk to these baby elephants. Find out how you can adopt an elephant for yourself or for a friend. Find out how you can donate towards the projects that are done by the Sheldrick Wildlife Trust, like the mobile veterinary units, the anti-poaching teams, the community project, and all the works that are being done by the Sheldrick Wildlife Trust. So thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much for what we've brought to you. We hope you've enjoyed. We understand what is happening in the whole world at the moment because of the COVID-19 and people are enclosed in the rooms. So we thought it is wise to bring this in your sitting room so that you have something to enjoy. The elephants will be set free to go back into the park and continue with the rest of the day until at 5 in the evening when they come back for bed. 13 elephants walking away now for the rest of the day, and thank you for joining us. Remember to continue staying safe from wherever you are.